I'm sharing 15 popular fall items your customers are looking for year after year. If you're looking to build your fall inventory, my 15 best sellers, it's a good place to start. Our first two projects require 4 pieces at 4 inches long and 4 pieces at 6 inches long, all 2x4 material. All of the projects in today's video can be accomplished using a miter saw or even just a basic handsaw. Except for a few extras at the end, those will require a bandsaw. And for our third project, we're cutting 2 pieces of 2x4 at 3.5 inches and 2 pieces of 2x6 at 5.5 inches. I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you really quick, but it's all laid out in the plans and it's really basic cuts. You've got this. I like to give each piece a quick dirty sanding, and that's where I briefly sand each of the sides and the edges, just because our 2x material has those rounded edges, and now we have clean cut edges with the miter saw. It throws things off a little bit. You guys just missed how to assemble these because this camera wasn't recording. Assembly is super straightforward. You're just going to put some Titebond 3 glue in between your joints, squeeze them together, and then you can use a little blue painter's tape if you don't have any bar clamps to hold them together, or if you have a bar clamp, throw one on there. You're going to use those 4-inch pieces and then the 6-inch pieces of 2x4, and you're going to make 2 things that look like this. Assembly is the exact same for this one. Take your piece, this one's the 3.5 inch, don't get those confused with the 4-inch. You can leave the 2x4 pieces so that they're parallel with the 2x6, or because everything is square, you can do this fancy little diamond shape. I prefer to leave them straight, but if you want to do that, it's pretty cool. A little glue on that 3.5 inch piece, get her put into position. We're going to repeat that for this guy. Not so much glue that it squeezes out all the sides, then you got a whole bunch of cleanup you have to do. Make sure those are all in line. Flip him over. And just repeat that for this top piece. And again, if you don't have a clamp, you can just wrap some tape around them. Another great thing about Titebond 3 is it only requires 30 minutes before it has enough hold strength that you can move on with your day. So in that 30 minutes, go outside, find yourself some sticks. They can be, 2 inches wide, probably wouldn't go any wider than that. And this guy I liked, it had a little V shape. I'm going to cut him about halfway because then I can use the other part of the stem on another one. I like to cut these just using a simple handsaw. If you put them on the miter saw, you're liable for that to actually grip it and then pinch, and it can explode and pull your saw out, and it's not any fun. I've got a 1/4 inch Forstner bit, a 1/4 inch piece of poplar dowel, and I've got this doohickey that has a whole bunch of different size holes. It's made by Craig. And I like to just take it, finding the center, lining it up with our 1/4 inch, and it keeps everything nice, and it gives me the ability to drill in this weird little center awkward spot instead of trying to do it by hand. And your hole needs to only be about 3/4 of an inch deep. Add a small dot of glue, push your dowel rod in, and cut it off about 3/4 of an inch up. Drill a matching hole in the bottom of your stick or your branch. I don't really know when you switch terminology. Repeat your dowel step for all 3 projects and drill all 3 of your stick pieces so that they have that matching dowel so that they can be sat on the top, but we don't want to do that yet because we still need to paint these or stain them. If you can pick up a spray can, they're about $6 now. They're getting outrageous. Otherwise, a little less fume, you can pick up these little acrylic paints. It just takes a little more time because you have to hand paint them versus just spraying on some delicious spray paint. You don't need to roll out a bunch of craft paper to get these painted. You can simply just throw a piece of 2x4 you don't really care about across 2 surfaces, bada bing. Because I don't want to smell the fumes all day, I threw that piece of 2x4 across some sawhorses outside. 2 of them got a splash of color in what Chicken now calls his house. That one is just a Minwax honey stain. Just wanted to give a little bit of variation. And lastly, I just want to distress these. They look too nice. You can leave some of them like these, but I recommend distressing some of this paint off of here. And you can do it with just a piece of sandpaper, rubbing it down. You can also throw it on your orbital sander. 2 things worth mentioning. Take light passes so you don't remove too much material or paint at once, and you're not leaving scratch marks behind. And if you're mass producing these projects like I am, you'll need a piece of sandpaper for every color. You don't want to use it on something orange and then try to go and sand something white, because it's going to leave orange behind. Your final step, just put a little glue in the hole, a little bit on the stem, and push it down into place. This next project uses your 2x6. Set your miter saw to 15 degrees and make an initial cut in the end. Flip your board, Measure down 3.5 inches and make another cut. And keep repeating these steps until you can knowingly hang your hat on this day saying that you've done your best. But maybe stop at 8, don't get greedy. 8's enough. And then sand all the pieces quick and dirty style. It's getting painted anyway, so who cares? And after sanding this project, it's on to paint. I like to spray the yellow for the bottom, then the white for the top, and then go back and carefully do the orange in the center. This way the white isn't overlapping the orange. However, I don't really like the regular candy corns. I like the chocolate ones. Use a Minwax honey or a darker ebony stain to get that chocolate bottom, then go back to spray paint your white, and finish off with the orange in the center. If this project still has you scratching your head, we made some candy corns. The ones that actually taste good and the other ones that they sell. Both of them get that distressed look. I just gently sand the edges and just hit the corners really fast. On the top, I take the orbital sander, goes gives you a nice random pattern. Got 4 of each kind. People love them. Since our 2x6 is still at the miter saw, reset that angle back to 90 degrees and cut 3 pieces at 8 inches long. Then cut a piece at 8 1/8 of an inch, one at 7 3/4 of an inch, and one at 9 inches. Like a broken record, sand your pieces, all the sides and the edges, blah, blah, blah. Our 3 8-inch pieces, one of them I stained with Minwax Natural, one of them I stained with Minwax Honey. You want to start with the natural so you don't have to switch your glove when you go to that darker color. In that final 8-inch cut, I spray paint white. And for those 3 mismatched sized pieces, the 8 1/8 gets that natural stain. For that 7 3/4 inch, I spray it either teal or blue. And for that 9-inch piece, I go with a vibrant orange. And just like the previous projects, sanding the edges and corners scratches off and removes some of that fresh paint, kind of gives it that distressed farmhousey rustic feel. Using some Titebond 3, I'm going to just put a little bit here in the center. I don't want enough that it's going to squeeze out all the sides, because then we got to deal with cleaning that up. I don't want to put clamps on these because of the fresh paint. Don't want to wrap tape around them, fresh paint. I don't want to set a weight on here to just leave them because fresh paint. And this is perfect. It's not like anyone's going to use these to jack up their car. And if they did, wouldn't they just put the jack on the top? So really, that still doesn't matter. That's a weird run-on sentence. Why is the font so big? It's because you're going to cut out each individual line and place them onto the books in the appropriate order. Don't put chocolate where marshmallow is supposed to go. People will lose their minds. Just take your piece of paper, you flip it over, and you just do this on the back, put a whole bunch of lead on her, flip it back over, and retrace our line again. It'll transfer the lead on the back of our paper onto our wood. Just made your own tracing paper. You could also buy tracing paper. I put a piece of painter's tape on my workbench so I can push my paint pen down to get more paint onto the tip without trying to do it on top of the project. Then you just run your paint pen over the top of those lines that you had stenciled with a pencil. Make them permanent. There you have it, 2 different stacks of books. If you want to stencil something on that big open canvas you have on the top, that looks pretty good. For this next project, take a piece of 2x4 and cut it down to 6.5 inches long. Adjust your saw's miter to 45 degrees, and I like to just find a reference point on my saw that I can continue to put those corners to so that they are all the same. And it's about 1 inch off of each corner if you're looking for a number. And once you're finished, repeat those steps 8 more times. I'd rather show you 1 time slowly than 8 times really fast. There's only one other board we need to cut. Set your miter saw to 15 degrees, make your initial angle, flip your board, measure down 10 inches, reset back to 90, and cut your board to length. Everybody, get to the comment section. What is our next step? It starts with an S. That's right, it's hydration. You've been in the shop a while. Get a drink. And then freaking sand these. This is the shape we are trying to accomplish. And the first time you glue one of these up, you're gonna get glue on one of these faces that you didn't want glue on. Now, I like to remove this piece because when I try to go and put some clamps on, this is kind of in the way. And also, I'm gonna stain this, I'm gonna paint these. It's just better if they are not next to each other when that step comes up. Just take a piece of 5-inch 2x4, wrap some masking tape around it, because glue hates masking tape. Well, they don't stick to each other. I don't know if they hate each other. It just gets plopped down in the center. Now I can actually put a clamp perfectly in the center, and it can go down where it needs to go. So this is how I kind of glue these up. I separate all of my pieces so that they can all fall down if my belly hits them. And then I just start with this center board because this entire spot is going to be covered. These two boards, they get glue on all pieces except for the tops. These sides, because now they are beginning to go back down, I can only put glue right here. So a little bit of glue. Repeat that for this side. These two pieces are the exact same. This piece I don't need any glue because it gets smacked on at the end. So these, oh no! Once you stand these up, the glue is gonna start falling down. So this is gonna be kind of quick. I hope you guys see it. Make sure your board's in the center. Glue, glue, glue. Chicken, can you hand me the masking tape? The painter's tape, masking tape, it's the same. Can you just hand it to me? What'd I buy at CVS today? Just Skittles. You're gonna take that big long piece of tape. I like to just kind of start in the back, sneak up on it, put it in the center. Well, that's what you get because you didn't hand me it. Now I really want to give it the squeeze. Just watch out because there's going to be a bunch of glue coming for the bottom. And to remove that temporary spacer in the center, just set them off to the side, get a smaller scrap piece of wood that fits nicely in there. I painted mine with a light gray, using a darker color for the stem. This is the part where either this goes successfully or your project kind of blows up. So we'll see. Just gonna put just a little bit of glue, not a heck of a lot, just really enough so that it has a little bit of lubrication so that it can freely slide down into your pumpkin. Because I gave it a trial run and it is tight. Seriously though, you probably could make this 6 inches long. Whoa, is that a finished project? Because we've already done all of these steps and now we're just making it into a different pumpkin.
Yeah, I don't
pretty
remember
simple.
you doing any of those things.
Okay. You call security. To build these pumpkins, it's very straightforward. 5.5 inch, 8 inch, and 10 inch cuts of our 2x6s. You're mitering the corners just like we did that bigger gray pumpkin. Then you have a couple options after you put the stems on and you paint it and you distress it. You can arrange them in like a 30, 30, and 30, so they overlap 30%. You can throw them so that this guy is perfectly centered at a 50%, these two next to each other, or my personal favorite, a 30-60 split, these two next to each other. Oh, that's the way to do it. And you just glue them up however you wanted that configuration to be. For this next project, you're going to need 8 2x4 pieces that are 3.5 inches long. At this point, it just needs to be closer to the miter saw. And after sanding, painting, or staining to match mine or to make it your own, and distressing each of these boards, we just need to glue them together. Just a little glue right here and right here. And take the caddy corner board. Little glue. Not close to the edges. I don't want to clean any of this up later. This next step is optional because it does require a bandsaw. You can try to get this cut out using a jigsaw, but it is pretty close quarters to your hand toes. Better off doing it with a bandsaw. You're going to print out the page that has all the leaves on it and an acorn. And we're going for this guy here in the center. You're going to roughly cut it out. Does not have to be on all of those little lines. And you're going to use some Elmer's repositionable washable glue stick and put it onto a little piece of 1x4 because instead of the A, I'm going to put a leaf. At your bandsaw or scroll saw, cut your leaf out on that line. Fall signs, same stenciling as we did for the books. If you guys don't own a stencil kit, you can use these letters just like we did the books. Trace them, paint them, call it good. And that A is replaced with the leaf. You can stencil on the leaf and paint it if you wanted to. I wanted to show you the leaf and an A. White lettering, black lettering, says fall. If you wanted to join these together, it could say fall y'all. That's fun. And lastly, if you roughly cut the leaves out that are in the plans, glue them onto a piece of 2x6 that these are cut to 5.5 inches, you can easily cut them out on the bandsaw and make some cool leaf shapes. Then paint and stain them to your liking. They're up here in the front somewhere. And that's my Fall Haul 2026. There is a video that is 2 years old. It is over 40 minutes long. Yeesh. 22 pages of printouts. Yikes. And I just wanted to revamp that. Plus, there's some products that I no longer make from that video. There's some products that I've added. So I just wanted to redo it, reset the playing field, so that you guys have the most accurate information. So how many pumpkin seeds are we getting for all of these projects? 2 2x4s at $5.96, 2 pieces of 2x6 for $11.55. However, I only used about $8.40 in the 2x6s. I still have one that's almost completely a full hunk. Dowel was $1.15. I only used about 30 cents worth of it. Spray paint was $38.50. However, each spray can does about 8 of these pumpkins. So about $5.50 is the total spray paint that I've used from those cans currently. Stain was 30 cents. Paint pen, 70 cents. Sandpaper costs about $2 because you're going to go through a lot of discs sanding the spray paint because it really gets in there and gums up your sandpaper and makes it ineffective. So buy some really cheap sandpaper, you know, those ones that really give you a whole bunch of scratch lines. Those are the ones to use because they'll stick around. Electricity, $1.07, blade usage, 5 cents, and paper and ink for printing out the plans, 2 cents. We're real thorough here. Free printable plans, down to 6 pages, mainly because we dropped the Gobble Spooky sign. I know a lot of you have liked that. That video is still up. You want to go watch that. Still got the plans, but they don't sell all too well. They take up a lot of real estate on the craft booth, so I cut it out. It wasn't a keeper. I'm going to breeze through these real quick because I don't want another 40-minute video. These pumpkins here I'm selling for $7. This guy here is $18. This guy is $12. All of our candy corns are $3 each. Our little books, those are going to be $9 a piece. Not sure where the other one is. The fall signs, those are going for $8 each. The little leaves and acorn, those are $5 each. They take a little more time to cut out. Obviously, it's not just one cut on the miter saw. Another discontinued item from the 24 is the Our Pumpkin Patch. My experience with this is that people would want to order one and the child's name is like more than 5 characters and it no longer fits in a pumpkin. So you have to either like lay down a board and it looks kind of wonky. I wasn't impressed with them as we got longer names. I was trying to be like, do you got a nickname, something that's short? Like, what do you got? And overall, it was just a mess. It was a lot of back and forth. And it's not that much. I'm cutting it out. Like personalization, no thanks. You could knock this out probably in about an hour and a half if you're building one of each. If you're just building like 6 of these, it'd take you a lot less time because you could make all the cuts. You just kind of batch it out. But if you're trying to make one of everything, about an hour and a half. Where is Chicken? He's like, oh, he's trying to attack that kangaroo. He hates that kangaroo, I'll tell you.